My salutations to everyone. Good morning. I heard from Swami Sarveshananji that... I'm okay, thank you. That many of you have supported Chinmaya Vishwavidyapith, Chinmaya University in India. And Sarveshananji was told me to specifically tell you how far we have moved and what is the vision of this university. I'm one of the trustees of the university, and this was Gurudev's vision of building a world-class institute which will blend technology and tradition together, which will bring best of the academic world and best of Indian knowledge traditions. Now, when I say Indian knowledge traditions, Indology, what do you think is Indian knowledge traditions? Vedanta? Anything else? Sanskrit language, okay. Vedanta, Bhagavad Gita, okay. History, okay. Anything more? Culture? Dharma? Artha? Spirituality, okay. See, the answers which you were prompting of is almost connected. You know, Bhagavad Gita is spirituality, spirituality is Vedanta, and it comes with culture. Someone said history, right? Was economics part of Indian knowledge systems? Economics? Architecture? Mathematics? Astronomy? Astrology? You see? And these knowledge systems we had, were they primitive or they were advanced? The only thing, you know, why this kind of understanding we have about it is most of it is in Sanskrit. And today, we have lost access to that language. Therefore, we do not understand the depth of science in it. But there are enough and more evidences to show how scientific, how advanced things were. For example, we measured the space much before. Hindu rishis measured the space much before. We know the distance between planets. We know the speed in which the planets were moving. We were aware of the distance between Earth and the Sun. Yajnavalkya, Rishi, has given the distance. We know the diameter of the Earth. 7008 miles is the diameter of the Earth. 108 Earths If you put, that is the diameter of the sun. Yajnavalkya has said this. And the same thing with the moon. 108 moons from Earth to moon is the distance between the Earth and the moon. This kind of a knowledge and insight we had, which is absolutely mind-blowing, that how these people have arrived. How did they arrive on something of this kind? How do you think a person like Brahmagupta would have understood the diameter of the earth? So we had a very different method of learning. And those learning, whatever they have understood, brought it down, it was quite advanced. We have lost the method of even understanding how they knew it. We lost that. So today, when we say, it looks a freak observations, but many of those observations were spot on. For example, how technically advanced is yoga? Patanjali's yoga, Panini's grammar, very advanced. It's not just that do a kind of an exercise or anything. It is completely, each asana is connected to the anatomy of the body, and they know it. And they said Ayurveda, which is once again catching up fast, part of Indian knowledge traditions. Our temple architecture, which are the standing examples of advanced mathematics. Next time when you go to India, definitely when you visit ancient temples like the temple in Tiruvannamalai, Arunachal, or Brihadishwara temple in Tanjore, or Anantavadmanava Swami temple in Kerala, Trivandrum, you look at the temple Gopuram, it would go at least 200 feet in height. For a 200 feet Gopuram, huge, massive structures they are. And these Gopurams and the temples have stood how many thousand years now? 1,500? Many of these temples. And they're still standing strong. There is no cement and steel in those buildings. Stones interlocked. Pure mathematics, calculation. What should be the first layer of stones? What should be the width, the length, and the thickness? The second layer, when you have to keep on it, how much less it should be to the first one. Perfect calculations. The stones were cut to that, and it was built with interlocking system. And all these temples Gopurams, what you see, the towers, don't have a foundation. Can you think of a 20-storied building made today without foundation? They are made that way, and they are there right now. Stood the test of time. Absolutely eco-friendly buildings. The height, the ventilation, we were quite advanced in doing, and they've stood time. Can the modern builders give us 1,500 years guarantee of their buildings they make? Any building, 1,500 years guarantee? I would like you to when you visit India, please go to these sites. Otherwise, you can search on we also have Google, right? You try Kailasanatha temple in Aurangabad, Ellora. Google it. You know how this temple was made? It's a mountain. In a mountain, they identified one rock, a single rock. They knew the size of that rock from the mountain. What is the size of the single rock? And in that single rock, a temple was built. The size of the temple, if I have to say, would be at least 25 times bigger than this building in one rock. There is no joint. It is a single rock cut temple. How do you build a temple like that? Generally, we understand make the foundation, then go up, 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 up. That's how generally made. Here on a mountain, on a single rock, they made a temple. That means they have to start the work from top. First, the one on top. And then you come down, and they had a perfect Agama Shastra. Each Garbhagraha calculation. Everything done in single rock. At least minimum 500 statues are there in that temple, all single rock. One rock only. There are beautiful things like an elephant standing on the doorway to welcome. Same. The Shiva who is there in the temple and the elephant which is at the gate of the temple, the doorway, threshold is all one rock. It's a marvel. You need to see. When you see something, and there are sites today talking, Indians would not have made it. It must be a alien structure. Aliens would have come and done. It is not impossible to do something like that. You should know our Indian knowledge traditions were something which is really deep and profound. We in our university are trying to bring present day academics and Indian knowledge traditions together. First university in the world, where was it? Takshashila, Nalanda, Vallabha, Kanchi. What are we talking about? Not Gurukula. We are talking about university. And this is our knowledge traditions. You understand the temple, or we have measured the space. We know metals. We know minerals. And we had a system, a human can evolve to divine spirituality. We offered to the world meditation. We taught the world navigation in the sea. And yet, I grew up in India where I was repeatedly told, British educated India. I was told, I grew up with that feeling that it is the British who educated, otherwise we were not educated. What do you call education? All this was not education. We were the first to have universities, but then this is how I grew up that way. So for a very long time, we did not have the narrative to explain India correctly. Indic knowledge was not there. And we were told Vasco da Gama found a sea route to India. 16th century, 15th century. Rajendra Chola, 1000 years ago, went from Tamil Nadu to central Java. Kaundinya went from southern India to Cambodia, built Angkor Wat temple, the biggest temple on earth, 1000 years back, 800 years back. And we used to go and come back. We were doing brilliant work through sea trade. And yet we were told Vasco da Gama came and found sea route to India. I mean, Indian navigation systems were not highlighted. For different reasons, all this was not brought out. I've been asking this question, even in an earlier session I asked this question, I'm asking you again, here to this group. What do you think was India's GDP in the 11th century? Because I want to know we were good in economics and commerce. 11th century, what do you think was our GDP? Any guess? Come on, you can. We are 7.5 now. Yeah. Who said that? Huh. 11th century, we were 32%. That is because we had great sea trade. By sea, we used to supply. India and Gulf countries have great relationship. India and the Far East, India and African coasts, we were doing trade. If you go to even countries like Dubai, even in 1975, Indian currency was accepted there. You can give an Indian rupee and buy things in Dubai. The trade relationship between India and Dubai was so deep. Dubai before oil was nothing. For that matter, all the Gulf countries. Everything used to be supplied through India, and what we used to get from Dubai would be dry fish, dry fruits, pearls. Dubai used to send it to India, business. And every other thing went from here because that was desert. They didn't have anything there. Oil came and then they had the money power and the Gulf developed differently. So the trade relationships, what we had, that's why India was advanced. It had 32% of GDP in the 11th century. 12th century, we came down to 24. Invasions began. And we remained in 20s, 24 to 27 till 18th century. This India we should know. In 18th century also, India had 24 to 27% of GDP. And the next country was China. They were having similar 25 to 27. Two nations. GDP was more than 50%. Rest of the continents put together was the rest of the world. 18th century. By the time the British left, we came to 3. So Indian knowledge systems, when we say we have to understand economics was part of Indian knowledge systems. We have to understand trade was part of Indian knowledge systems. Commerce was part of Indian knowledge systems. The brilliant treatise Kautilya has written, Arthashastra, Shastra science, Artha wealth. So these are all Indian knowledge systems, but most of it is in Sanskrit. We do not know that language. Therefore, we didn't understand what they are. Since we do not know a language, we forgot, we didn't even know what was there, and we moved away to another kind of learning. In our university, we are trying to bring these two. Today's academic knowledge, let's say we have popular courses like BCom, BBA, BA Applied Psychology. Whatever is the latest curriculum we would follow along with Indian knowledge systems. This university is committed to this kind of education. If we are talking about, let us say, suppose, I just want to ask you a question. We have BA Sanskrit. You can study BA Sanskrit, BA Vyakarana, grammar. These are the courses in Sanskrit we have. What is the job prospects for a person who studies BA Sanskrit today? School teacher, very good. School teacher, then anything else? Jobless. Translator, school teacher, you go a little ahead, professor, okay. Translator. Do you see anything beyond that? So how many is anything beyond? You see, we are making this difference. A person who studies Sanskrit in our university can probably write IAS exam, civil service, because the exposure what he would have would be Indian knowledge traditions. He would understand the Indian history correctly. He would understand the economics correctly. A person studying Sanskrit today can become an IPS officer, can go out to become a judiciary, a judge. Now imagine creating people with this background. A person doing economics in a university will have the same blend. And then he goes to do MPhil, he would have the same backing anchored into the Indian knowledge systems. This is the university we are attempting to create, and we have around 150 students this year. We have just started. We are 14 months old. A long way to go. And it's a big, big vision. Our vision doesn't end with a university in Ernakulam itself. We would be looking at different frontiers. After probably a few years, we would like to open multiple campuses of this university in different countries. That's there in our pipeline of thinking. So it can't be just a university at Ernakulam, but we want where the today's education system with ancient knowledge traditions combined would come, and the world would benefit much more. Today the world has proved, right? The science has proved that Ram Setu bridge is historical, man-made bridge between Sri Lanka and India. How did you make a bridge across the sea? Few thousand years ago. Today we understand. Few thousand years ago. And today the science proved that it's a man-made bridge. So if we can dig deep into our own treasures, what we have, a combination of these two, I think education system would be complete. Today when a person passes out of a university, what is his inner strength in facing life? Inner strength, I'm saying. Are we taught to handle disappointments? Are we taught to handle different issues which life throws up? What is our strength? Education would be complete when academic is backed with spiritual knowledge. Paravidya, aparavidya. A combination of these two makes us educated. Then we have the strength to meet life. We are attempting that. So in this university, if you're reading economics, you will read economics along with Bhagavad Gita. If you're reading BCom, you will read it with Bhagavad Gita. Books like this we bring in. So it's a very different attempt we are making. And you have already supported this cause earlier. That's what Sarvesh Anandji told me. So I deeply thank all of those who have supported the university. And the progress is we have now moved into the second year with 150 students. And we are looking at including courses like B.Ed in the coming years, because teachers are very important. Chanakya said, creation and destruction is in the laps of a teacher. And every word of it is true. It is a teacher who can create or destroy. B.Ed means people who get trained in that curriculum are qualified to teach in schools. So we are introducing B.Ed in our university next year, which will have a combination of all what I've said. Now imagine a teacher trained in physics with Indian knowledge systems and goes out to teach physics in the university or in the college, in the schools. Same thing would be with mathematics. So we are attempting these things. I'm sure you would be very happy to know that this kind of an attempt is being made. And we have also taken up students from very difficult backgrounds, very challenging backgrounds. This year, I picked 3 children in Chennai who were rag pickers. Rag pickers. They have passed the 12th grade with honors. And we said we will take them into our university, give them full scholarship. Can you imagine studying, coming up to 12th standard, picking up rags on the roads? And someone was supporting them till then, some tuition class, some special class, and all that, and they managed to write 12th. We have picked 3 of those children, and we have given them admission in our university. And we said, we will give you full scholarship. We will take care. We have also made tie-up with another organization which works with rag pickers in Dehradun. There, those kids are coming, they are in the 11th standard now, 11th grade. Next year, they'll go to the school final. So after that, few children from Dehradun, we will be taking them into the university. We have already reached out to the Pandits of Kashmir who is dislocated. Moved away from Kashmir because of genocide which happened there. They are all living a very difficult life in Jammu. We have offered to the right students scholarship from that background. And also we have taken students from Northeast India. Northeast India is drifting away from India. They don't want even to identify with India. We are trying to bring those students, and 25 students we are taking every year from Northeast India. So definitely every year from Kashmir, Pandits who are living in refugee camps today, those guys, the Northeast India and people from Dehradun and all that, we would be definitely at least looking at 50 students a year of full scholarship from these backgrounds. We strongly believe in, building it up this way. And this university of ours, you'll be very happy to know this, it comes under DENOVA category. Deemed university. And what category? DENOVA. DENOVA means we can be innovative in our courses. So we are bringing in innovation into these kind of systems, and we are creating many courses. I'm personally working on a course for, don't laugh, okay, for babysitters. A course for babysitters. Why babysitters? It could be a certified course. You know who are the babysitters today in India? I wish. Today, most of the babysitters are trained by Christian missionaries. Parents go to work and leave the child, and the babysitter. Yes, we want babysitters, retired people from life. Who has lived their life, who's got the experience of life, retired, vanaprasthis. And we want them to go through this course. Now imagine an army officer or a judge or a school headmaster, retired, going through this course, and they become babysitters. They will teach Prahalad stories. They will teach Nachiketa stories. They will teach Hindu samskaras. You understand? They will bring in the values. They will tell how to do a simple puja, how to keep these kind of things. So this is where the university has a bright prospect, because we come under the category called DENOVA. So we have courses of this kind, and we will create so that the retired people who have lived life sufficiently, have seen enough of the world, can contribute in building India from new generation. with this kind of a background. So these are some of the things which we have. Thank you very much for your support. I once again extend making a request to support further. Each student whom we give a scholarship would be for 3 years education, full graduation. That would be like staying with us in the ashram, studying there, lodging, boarding, education fees, and everything would cost 3.5 lakhs for 3 years. That is equal to something like 5,000 US dollars per child. You can come forward to support this scholarship scheme. It would be very, very helpful for us. You can do it individually, or some of you can join together and do it. And you can send this, whatever you want to offer, to, what is your mail ID? What do you all have? Okay, you can tell that to them. Yeah, you can send it to the Chinmaya Mission Dallas here, and they will forward it to the university. So once you send it, your checks there, you can just write, this is for Chinmaya University scholarship or whatever. So Chinmaya Mission members from here would forward that donation to India, and that would go a long way in building up this university. We are at an early stage. It is at this time we need all the help. See, we run schools in India. We run 100 schools in India. We know it is only at the early stage we need. And once you get there, the university would be in a position to take care. But to take it to a world class, every member has to support. In how Gurudev calls it, like collective work is called a yajna. Building up a university like Nalanda or Takshashila of that stature is a Mahayajna. Every supporter of Indian knowledge traditions, Indology, has to give something or other. Only then we can build this up that way. So please support whatever you can. Thank you very much for your time. Stay. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you.